Good morning, everyone. It is June 18th. We are up early at 6 a.m. out here in California. So I'm excited. We have the executive directors and above that are on, and we're just going to have fun today. And by the end of today, my goal is everyone feels really good. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone understands kind of where we're moving into, finishing up June, going into July, moving into national convention, which we also call conference, and that we feel more of a tight unit moving into the middle of the year. It's already halfway through the year. So we're going to start this thing out by having Cheryl Myers come on and tell her story. And if you guys don't know her, she'll introduce herself, and let's get this thing kicked off. So Cheryl, pretty please with a cherry on top.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl Myers. I live in Turner, Oregon on the Pacific Northwest. And about a year ago now, my husband came home from work one day and said, I want to do this plan and get the information. I want to do it. And it's like, I don't want to do it. And it took about a month. He would have been the credit card thrower. I was not. But we went on plan, and in 10 months combined, we lost 176 pounds. We kept it off, and it's just amazing. And in November, I decided I wanted to be a coach just to hold us accountable. And January, I think it was middle of January, Jamel challenged me to become an ED by the end of March. And I was an ED by the end of February. And I've maintained, we've met some really cool people. I've had people that, I had one lady tell me that through this program, I was an angel. She'd wanted to commit suicide. She just had lots of health struggles. And she's doing better now. She's lost about 30 pounds. And she's still got a lot more to go. But we just, come on, you can, the one's hiding back here, he didn't get up and shower early. He's ready to go work outside. But this is the skinny guy. And if somebody would have told us, a year ago that he'd be smaller than I've ever known him to be, it would have we wouldn't have believed it. So that's pretty much my story. I'm loving it. We speak from the heart, and he's a walking billboard, so it's pretty cool.
Let's hear from you, Ron. Don't be trying to hide, man.
He thought this was just me.
I know, he always does it. Ron, tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what's happened, right? I mean, Cheryl kind of skipped over the client part, but I do really want us to get connected to what sort of power we have and what sort of power this program has. So from your perspective, tell us where you were as a human being and what's happened since, where you're at now.
Where I started was I was almost 300 pounds, feeling miserable, high blood pressure, borderline diabetic, and I just felt terrible. I love to be very active, and I was, but I paid the price. Every Monday I'd go back to work feeling like I was falling apart and couldn't hardly move. And since being on the plan, I tell everybody I'm a 62-year-old, 30-year-old, because I feel so good. I have more energy. But it was kind of ironic in that after about 8 months on the plan, and a lot of people, I manage a lot of employees, and I don't get to see them because they're spread out all over the state. And they would constantly be coming up to me and going, are you okay? Do you have cancer? What's going on? Because I lost so much weight in such a short period of time. Some of them, they'll walk right by me and not even know who I am. So it's really kind of a good feeling. But the best feeling is they always ask, and I start talking to them, and Cheryl's the coach, I'm the billboard and the advertiser and the marketing, and it's just a good feeling to see the same thing happen to them. And I've got quite a few employees that are on the plan, and they just can't believe how they feel when they do it, and that's the reward.
Would you say, Cheryl?
Well, his company is pretty big, and they push health, but they don't do much to support it.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, when we had just started this, they did have a company come in and test blood pressure and
Obesity.
BMI and some things, and we're trying to get them to do some sort of health fair again or something, and let me come in there, because one of Ron's goals is to get everybody happy. It's a construction company,
Mm-hmm.
and truck drivers, and I'm probably coaching maybe about 8 people in the company, and our goal is, not only to get America healthy, but we'd like to get his coworkers healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working it.
Yes.
People are just excited. So
Good, man. All right. So I'm going to thank you guys. I'm going to transition over to let's hear from Miss Carla. Carla, can you talk? All right. So Carla, tell us your story. Because I think there's people on this line, like probably Heaven and maybe even Stephanie, don't even know who you are, maybe. So how did you get here? What are you excited about? What's changed for you over the last, I don't even know, when did you even get started with this whole thing?
It's going to be 2 years in September, I think it is, that I became a health coach. But I got started when I saw Rosie's picture. She posted a before and after picture. When I saw that picture, I think I was at my heaviest, at my saddest, at my worst, I think, everywhere. Emotionally, physically, mentally. I went up to her and I asked her, what did you do? I was a credit card thrower. I really didn't care what it was at that point. I just wanted to try it because I had tried everything: diets, exercise, pills. I'm a mother of 2, so the time for me to get into the gym or for me to get to exercise and try to lose the weight, it just couldn't happen because I was so busy with the girls. The eating habits were really bad. I think I only ate maybe once or twice a day, and when I did eat, it was something, fast or something I thought was healthy. I had eliminated carbs. At that point, I had done so many things. I think at that point I was doing no carb diet, and I had lost 5 pounds in like 3 months. So she got me on the phone with Jamil. Jamil, told me how to get on or whatnot. And I think I was like, okay, I don't care. Just what do I need to do? What do I need to give you? Just get me on. Since I've been on program, I ended up losing 30 pounds in 10 weeks. My first week on program, I think after like the 4th or 5th day, I just got into this energy. I was a go. I love the fact that I can be out and eat whenever I needed to eat. So I ended up losing 30 pounds in 10 weeks. Rosie then introduced me to the coaching. I kind of just let Rosie guide me. Rosie said, let's do this. I jumped on the coaching. I've been coaching ever since. I've helped, I want to say about over 100 people. Has changed me physically, emotionally, mentally, has done so much for me, because when I started the program, I was just so unhappy with everything about me, because I just couldn't get into that happy place. This program not only helps you lose the weight, it just helps you to get into a better place overall. To me, the biggest thing for me has been how it's helped me mentally. How it got me to a place where I can help people get out of that unhappy place I was in. Or I've had people that are diabetic that go back to the doctor and their sugar levels are back to normal. I've helped my kids. I've helped my mother. I've helped my sister. God, I've helped my family. So to me, it's been like a super exciting ride that no matter what, I will hold on to it. Whether I struggle or not struggle, whether I'm good or not good, I will hold on to it as long as I can. If I can hold it forever, then I'll hold it forever. That's my story.
I have a question. So it's been about 2 years or so for you now, right, Carla?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there's been many, many transformations. I think the people that are close to you have been preview to that. So, can you imagine where you would be if you didn't see that before and after picture that Rosie put up, or that I probably put up, because Rosie was been hard-headed and she didn't want to put up. So, but can you imagine where things would be?
I don't want to imagine. I would not be. I wouldn't have taken the risks, the opportunities, changed jobs. God, I wouldn't have taken any of that. I would have. I would have still been struggling with my weight. I would have still been in an unhappy place physically, mentally, and emotionally. God, there's so many things. I wouldn't have been able to help my daughter that was unhappy at some point, my mother that's borderline diabetic, friends that really needed it, people that I don't even know that really needed it. Yeah, no, I don't want to imagine what would have happened if Rosie wouldn't have posted that picture.
Mm-hmm. So pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Okay, so that's Carla, everyone. If you guys haven't met her, you'll for sure meet her in about a month. In about a month, we're all going to be in Austin, hanging out, having a great time. Don, you got to stop crying because you're next. So, so thank you, Carla. We love you. Don, come on off and tell us your story and why you're here and how you got here.
Well, I mean, my story started last February, and my daughter had actually just invited me to Disney, but I woke up one day and literally I just said, I had all the same feelings as Carla. I was just so unhappy with how I had allowed myself to get. I was tired all the time. I had excuses why I couldn't do things. And I had done the program before, but as a diet. And literally, actually, I had just signed up to do it as a diet because I didn't know there was more to it. And within a week, I met Melody. And I liked Melody's approach as a coach, and I asked her to become my coach. And quickly, I lost 40 pounds, and I felt amazing. And I remember I worked for a doctor, and he turned 65 in May, and I started having those thoughts of, oh my gosh, what am I going to be doing in 5 years? Because you know, I didn't want to start all over at another job. And Melody had mentioned to me that the coaching opportunity. And I remember telling her many times, not only did I did not want Melody to call me weekly. I didn't even want to talk about coaching. And when I went through my 2-week depression, realizing that I could be out of a job at any given day, and Melody mentioned to me that people were 5 times more likely to succeed if they're helping other people. I said, sign me up. And I actually quit a teaching job I had done on Saturdays so I could dedicate to helping a few people. So, I mean, my life has changed so much, so fast, and all in positive ways. I mean, I hate to say this out loud, but I consider myself, I was a pretty negative person. Because I was probably feeling so miserable all the time. But Melody has changed my life in so many ways. I'm going to cry now. She is positive in any situation. I mean, I could be crying about something and she's just, but look at it this way. And I would almost want to say, just stop. I just want to, cry in my sorrows. But she has turned me around. In fact, I said this to someone the other night, you got to make lemonade out of lemons. And I make a lot of lemonade now. It's helped me in my personal life in so many ways. I don't usually say this out loud either, but I have a son who is an addict. And that's kind of where I have just allowed myself to not take care of myself for the last 15 years. And last year I dedicated it to me because I was just dying outside and inside. And so I dedicated that to me. And he still has his problems, but now I take care of me. And it feels really good. I realize I can't change anybody but me. I can help other people, which I do now, and that makes me feel good. I don't know if I can finish this now. So I thank Melody for a lot of that. She's even helped me with him. I take one day at a time. Today is going to be a good day. And I thank all of you because so many of you have really impacted my life when I went to convention last year, which is something I normally wouldn't do. I opened myself to another world, a world of positive people. Jamil, thank you. Garrett, thank you. Becky, thank you. Karen, I mean, there's just so many of you that I could thank. I came home from convention last year, a whole new person. I was positive for the first time in so many years. And I wanted to share that with everybody. So everybody I meet, I try to make positive situations out of it. And so I'm honored to be here with you guys. Sorry, now everyone's crying. That's my story.
I would say that's a pretty good story. You're right. My goodness, everybody is crying. This is awesome. Okay, so Don, we love you, man. This is so good. So I'm so glad that this is happening. And if we really want to get some tears, I bring on Monique right now because you give her about 2 seconds and whoo, the water works, boy. So this is good. I wanted to do this. I wanted to get back to the basics of what we do, honestly, because I think we forget sometimes. And I think that at this level, I think that we start coaching for many, many reasons. We all have our reasons, right? I mean, of course, we're part of the Take Shape for Life mission with getting America healthy, but we all internally have our own reasons, right? So Cheryl and Ron have their own reasons now, right? They got like 50 kids, right? I mean, they have a lot of kids. I didn't know they got a lot of kids, right? But 6 kids, you know. And I know Monique has her reasons, and Don and Rosie have their reasons, and Casey has her reasons, and Tony and Jamie. We can go down the line. All of us have our own reasons. And as we start to set those goals higher and higher and higher, particularly because we understand what's actually possible, right? I mean, and once you start to see what's possible, it starts to get exciting. And then so you're setting these goals higher and higher and higher. But what happens is once you start setting goals, guess what you're going to start to encounter right away? Some obstacles. That's just how it is. And they're not really obstacles. They've always been there, but you've never really seen them before because you didn't really have high goals like that. And so now there's some obstacles that pop up. And when those obstacles pop up, then coaching can become a little bit frustrating. So it's always important to get back to the basics. I think all of us started to create these sorts of stories. I mean, look at the demographics that's on today. You know, we have Cheryl and Ron. You know, we have Jamie, who's a little bit younger, right? We have people in the middle. We have, you know, these young moms. We have executives. You know, the demographics are all over the place, and yet everyone's being touched about the same. And it's like we forget the basic fundamentals of creating these sorts of stories, and that we have that power, right? Like if you listen to everyone, they're thanking these normal people, right? Don's thanking Melody, right? Like, so I'm not sure that, first of all, before we started coaching, we understood that we could even create these sorts of stories and have those sorts of powers. And even though we know we have that, once you get into it, sometimes it gets a little bit tough. And so you forget that I actually can create these sorts of stories. And we start to lose our way a little bit. So I wanted to kick it off with that because it's very important to understand. I think if we could just stay connected to that as we're going through the day and we're like, wow, I'm going to go create another story like Cheryl and Ron's, right? Today, I'm going to do things so a year from now, there could be another Don Donnelly. Today, I'm going to go and do things so that I can help create another Carla. Today, I'm going to go do things. There's so many stories here. It's not even funny, right? I'm going to go do things so that Sherry and Dave Martinson have a chance to financially get in a better place to where they can send all their kids off to college and never have to think about, can I go and visit them because I have the financial means to do it. I'm going to go create that. And not only that, I'm going to create this amazing team of coaches that's going to go out and affect the world like that too. And then in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, I'm going to have a big old screen like this of people that have those sorts of stories because of the decisions that I made today. And it might get a little bit tough, but I also know what I want. And I also know that now that I know I have this sort of effectiveness, guess what I'm going to do? It's almost my duty now. It's not almost, it is my duty now that I've tapped into this, to go and create those stories, right? And have all these stories created. And so at this level, guys, you guys are executive directors and above. You no doubt have already started to create these stories, but we're just getting started. So I talked about these things called challenges. So let's kind of figure out how we kind of move past some of them, because all of them are in a natural rhythm of building this business. I don't know if you guys have started to figure this out yet, but basically you're going to have to go through some stuff because you want to build a business to where you're going to have coaches come in and they are going to build their businesses too, right? But as you guys will start to find out, you can't give what you don't have. So The universe is going to make you go through some stuff. That's just how it is. And you're going to have to go through it. So when they go through it in a year from now, and they will, you actually know how to work with them. But you're going to have to be strong enough to push through it and not quit. And that's going to be on you. And not get your energy down all the time, right? Like stay in a really good place. And so that's why these getting back to the basics, hearing the Cheryls and you know, all that stuff. So it's really good. So let's talk about some strategies that a couple people are using to move past some of these challenging times. Is that cool? So I'm going to have Miss Casey come on representing the VA. That's Virginia for all of you guys that don't know. So Casey, can you come on? So basically, you guys are executive directors and above. Many of you guys are really close to becoming fully integrated business coaches. And we have, you know, lots and lots of folks that are going to start popping as globals and stuff pretty soon. But none of that stuff is going to be for free. I'm sorry. It's just not. And so you're going to have to learn how to work through it. So Casey's going to share some things that have been helping her. And then we're going to hear from Tony, and she's going to share some things that have been helping her as well. We need more dudes on here. I'm starting to notice that. We got to hear from some guys. There's too many women. Let's go out. Can we bring in more guy coaches? I'll work on it. All right, Casey, it's all you.
Okay. So I guess it was maybe a month or so ago, I got on a call with Jamil, and we were just going over the map and talking through some things. And he was like, so how are things going? And I was like, they're good. Everything's fine. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, everything's fine. It's good. This is happening. This is happening. And he was like, okay, all right, you're weird. You're a strange one. I haven't put my finger on you yet, but you're a weird one. And I was like, okay, moving on. So just went about, you know, my life, and was like, that was a weird comment, but that's fine. I guess I'm just different. So then a couple weeks ago, or actually it was maybe last week, I got on a call with him again just to kind of review my map, and had basically been having some weird feelings. So I think Jamil was a little right with that I am weird, and have just been feeling in my heart that I wasn't putting forth 100%, not only for my clients, but also for my coaches and myself. There were a lot of calls and things that I just didn't want to get on. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be a coach. I just wanted to put it to the side. And I hated that feeling, because I just knew that there was something more for me. And I got on a call with him, and just we were reviewing the map, and I didn't know that I was going to go into all of these different struggles that I've been having. They just kind of came out, and I didn't know that they were that heavy on my heart. I just felt like I wasn't being enough, especially for my coaches and my clients. So I really had to kind of reconnect with myself and what I really wanted. Just like Jamil said, get back to the basics. So I sat down and really reflected on why I've decided to become a coach and help people. And just really had to quiet my mind and focus on where I started from and why I wanted to do this. And in just a year, so much has changed for me. I was in a job that I hated. I was a teacher, and I hated teaching. I was able to leave that job and take on a lower paid scale. Basically, I was going to be making less for the full-time job that I took on, but was able to supplement and basically match that with coaching in just a few months, which was incredible. So now there have been a lot of things that my husband and I have been able to do that I wouldn't have dreamed of. So with kind of really refocusing on what's happened for me in the past year and how far I've come, I've had to refocus on what I need to do to continue to grow. So some of the things that I am doing is basically, I'm continuing to grow with personal development, and getting on, especially these Pearls of Wisdom calls in the past few days have been very helpful. I've listened to them before, but there's something different that I pick up each time. And so even 6 months from now or a couple months from now, I might listen to them again and pick up something different then. So that's been really helpful, just to kind of focus on, growing myself so that I can continue to grow my business and help others, help my clients, help my coaches, and then go out and find more clients and find more coaches to be able to help. I think it's pretty amazing that I have this community of support. I'm in Virginia, and you all, a lot of you are in California. There are some of you that are in North Carolina, New Jersey. So I have this whole community of support across the country that I can link up with. And, Dr. A talks a lot about community and really partnering with community and your mentor coach and, all of our coaching family, just to lean on each other when we go through these struggles. And so I'm doing my best now to really try and build that here in Virginia so that I have it close to home. I was on a call with one of my coaches yesterday and was like, you know what, we just really need to get together. We really need to get together. You're 30 minutes down the road from me. Let's go get coffee. So just really trying to build that. Another thing is just kind of going back to the basics, as far as I wasn't posting as much on Facebook about our program, or just, how far I've come as a coach. I wasn't doing connections emails. It's just basic things that we know help us get clients that turn into coaches and just help other people. So really kind of getting back to that. One of the other things is that I needed to refocus on my health. I had put that aside. And I feel like if you are focused on coaching and helping others, then you focus on yourself, because you're holding yourself accountable. And that's one of the main reasons why I became a coach. And so I'm really focusing on, my own health so that I can be a better coach for other people. A big thing that I picked up from the Pearls of Wisdom call the other day was about mindset and staying positive and just really challenging your own thoughts. So really just kind of being present and catching yourself. I've found this a lot over the past couple of days, of catching myself, what I'm saying or what I'm thinking, and turning that into a more positive thought. And Tony and I have been talking about this a lot over the past couple of days, of just, we think this, but it's really this. This is really what it is. And it's just a more positive way of looking at it. Also, one of the things that I've really picked up on from the Pearls of Wisdom is just believing in myself and knowing that I can do this and that I'm really worthy of this and I deserve this. So just really getting back to it and linking up with you guys and linking up with Jamil and moving forward. Because I know that I love this, and I know that it helps people, and I know that I need this. So, thanks.
That was good, man. Did you guys take notes? Huh? All right. I see Melody has some. Okay, so before I go through the list of what I wrote down, remember, guys, these are pearls of wisdom. Success always leaves clues, right? So Casey just gave us some of the most fundamental clues of what will continue to make us successful as health coaches. She really did. I wrote a whole bunch of them down. Let me explain why I said she was weird a couple weeks ago, first of all. So I was on a call with her, and she's been coaching for a little while now, over a year. And she's moved at a fast pace, especially since we went to convention last year. And she has a lot of coaches, and she brought on a lot of coaches. And there was a point within maybe a month or two to where she maybe brought on, 5, 6, 7 coaches or something like that. I said she was weird because she hadn't got upset. That is strange, because by this time, I know just from working with enough people that by this point in someone's business, they should be getting pretty frustrated if they want a big business, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, I told you, once we start to set big goals, we're going to run into obstacles. The universe is going to throw things at you that is meant to make you stronger, because you want these really big goals. You're not going to get these really big goals being this really small person. So you got to learn how to grow into the person that can fit these really big goals. And so typically once we start to bring on coaching partners, we're really thinking about expanding our practices, right? But in order to do that, you're going to have to go through some hard things, especially with coaches. And so Tony was at a point to where she wasn't frustrated yet. I mean, Casey was at a point where she wasn't frustrated yet. And so in my head, I was like, okay, either she doesn't want to grow her business because she hasn't run into these challenges yet, or she's just really strange and these things don't get to her. And I have not worked with one coach yet to where they haven't been frustrated with these things. And so that's why I told her on the call, I said, this is really weird. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, do you want to do this, or where are you at? Because she should be getting kind of pissed off by now, right? And we should be working through some of these mental things. And then it was like 3 weeks later to where she was there, and I was so happy. And that's what I told her. I know it was weird, but she was, feeling frustrated. And I said, for me, I'm really excited that this is finally happening, because now we can figure out how to work through it. And now you can grow. And as Casey grows, guess what else is going to grow? Her business. But if she decides to stay at the same place and she refuses to move past these things, guess what's going to happen? Her business is going to stay the exact same, or she will quit because it's too much cognitive dissonance. That's just how it is. So now we finally get to move through these things. And I'm like, yes, it's go time, baby. So some of the things that she said that I wrote down. So first of all, what she did was she went back and figured out what she wanted. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Starts With Why, and he also has a TED Talk on it. I suggest watching it. But basically, look, guys, we have to know what we're here for. We have to. We have to be really present to it and really present with it. And we have to continue to create structural tension. If we start to reach some of these health coaching goals, guess what? We got to make bigger goals or there's no tension. Just like in our healthy bodies, right? So once we reach our goal weights or whatever, then we have to create more tension or we're just going to go backwards. So we have to continue to create tension. So one of the things that helped Casey is I said, you know what, let's hop off this call. You go be present and go figure out what you actually want. Isn't that what we did, Casey? And then we got back on a couple days later and we talked about what she actually wanted, because it's really easy to forget about what do you want? What do you want? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? What do you want? And what are the big ones, not the little wimpy ones that anybody can say? What do you want? Very hard for people. People don't even like to be present with that because it's going to push them outside of their comfort zone. But what do you want? Go back and figure it out, right? And at this level where you guys are, it has to be more than I just want to help people. We already know that. That's a given, right? We're all here because of that. What do you want on a big scale? And it doesn't have to be, monetary things. It can be. But what do you want? What's your purpose, dude? Go figure it out, spend time with it, and be present with it so you don't wake up like everybody else, moving through the day like a robot. You wake up with extreme intentionality. So she went back and really got settled in on her why. Also, she started focusing on all of the blessings, right? And so it's really important to just write out a list of all of the cool things that have happened and all of the actual blessings that you've had. Write a list out of all those things that have changed for you. And not only is change for you, but that you've helped other people change and how we have evolved. She is now getting connected with personal development again. Very important to have this part of your practice daily. Now, I wouldn't be spending hours and hours and hours on these things, especially if you're not getting into action, because action is way more important. But we definitely have to have something to help us in our direction, in a positive direction. Now she's going to create a community. Guys, is one of the biggest secrets within Take Shape for Life. And I know I say it all the time, but I'm really happy that Casey just said it. If you're not creating your own community, your business is just going to move at a very slow pace, and it's going to become really, really frustrating. And eventually your coaches will go bye-bye, and so will you. You have to, if you just look at, they say success leaves clues. One of the first things I did when I started as a health coach is create a community, try my hardest to create a community that people want to be a part of. And it was on a very consistent level. So if you're not doing that in your own communities, then we're not recognizing one of the most fundamental and basic principles that we need to know as health coaches. So Casey called up one of her coaches. They're going to get together for coffee. But guys, this is called healthy happy hours. This is called hikes. This is called doing presentations. I did my first health rally is what we called them back then, to where I started establishing the community. Karen didn't have to call me and say, Jamil, you should go do a health rally, right? I walked around to like 10 to 15 doctors' offices asking them if I could use their practices because I want to start creating a community. So if we're not doing that, it's going to become a little frustrating, especially on a consistent basis. So Casey's going to do that. She's getting back into action and living out loud, which is really important. She's going back to leading with her health first. This is a big thing, especially for women. So guys, when you start to have coaches come on your teams and you feel the energy is off a little bit, really start asking them about where they're at with their own health. Very, very important. Your coaches will leave really, really fast or slow down, or their energy will get out of line, out of spirit. And so you have to check on that. That's one of the systems you want to check on. So she's getting back, focus on her own health, challenge her thoughts. That's a big one. Believe in herself. So with just a couple minutes left, I do want to get you guys out at the top of the hour, but I do want to have Tony come on and share some of her tips and techniques on how to move past some of these times to where it might get a little bit hard. So, Tony, can you share with us real fast?
Hello.
Hola.
Do you want me to tell them my challenges or just how I'm moving past it?
You could tell the whole thing. I mean, it's all good.
All right. Well, I have trouble with, believe it or not, lack of motivation. Like around probably like once a month, I tell Jamil like I'm done, I'm quitting, that's it. And then he's like, okay, you just need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, all right. And I do have to go back and figure out like why I started, because it's just I let other people's negativity get to me, and I feel like when my coaches get down and negative, then I take it on, and I think like, oh, I'm failing as a coach, I suck, and these are just things that I'm telling myself. So so the other day, Wednesday, he sent me this call and he's like, just listen to this. So I got in the car and I'm like, I don't care what happens, I'm getting to that meeting, to the Monrovian, I just need to be around other coaches, and it goes back to what Casey talked about, like with community, and like I can call Casey anytime, I could talk to Dawn, I could talk to Rosie and be like, oh my God, just, and it's just great to like talk to people about your frustrations. And so I got in the car, I was like, even though I did not want to go to that breakfast meeting, I got in the car and I was like, I need to be there. So I drove and I turned on that call, and it was like talking to me, and it was talking about positive thinking and how, why do you have these negative thoughts, and you need to turn the negative thoughts off. And I have so many negative thoughts. It's like, where do they come from? I'm trying to figure that out. And so then I decided, okay, every morning I'm getting up at 6:00 and I'm turning on the Pearls of Wisdom. I don't want to do it, but I need to, because that day I realized a lot of things, and I realized that my coaches I feel like are constantly complaining and negative, like, I'm not listening to them. So I actually told them, you know what, I'm really, really sorry. I have not been a good listener, and you guys haven't been able to talk to me, because every time they have something negative to say, I'm like, all I think is I failed them. I suck as a coach, and maybe I should just quit. And so I'm trying to turn those thoughts off, and I actually apologized to them and told them that if they have anything they need to talk about, then I'm here for them. And so I'm just, I don't know. I'm trying really hard to work on myself. That's really, like today I'm going to the thing, and I have other stuff that my husband wants me to do, but I need to be there, and I know it's going to help me.
So, what sorts of things are you doing? How are you turning these thoughts around?
I am constantly asking myself, is that thought serving me? Constantly. Like, even with my husband, like if he says something, I'm like, okay, Tony, stop, breathe. How is that, is that thought serving me? No, it's not. So I'm trying to think like, what's he going through right now that he just said that? Or, what's this person going through that they feel like they can't do this program? Or what is this coach going through that she feels like she needs to quit? I'm trying to be empathetic. It's not easy all the time, but I'm trying.
That's good. All right. Very, very good. What were you going to say?
Oh, the other thing is that over the past month, I haven't been doing the 5-in-1, and I've been feeling like crap, like absolute crap. And so a couple days ago, I just like Casey, like I woke up one day and was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get back on the 5-in-1, just to get my energy up, start feeling better. And I feel like I can relate so much better to my clients when I'm doing it. So I texted Casey and I go, let's do this. And so we both decided to start back on.
Love it. All right. So that goes back to community. Is this helpful, guys? I hope this is helpful. My goodness. So some of the things I wrote down is, again, let me talk about this before I get into this. This is interesting, isn't it? Every single level of health coaches have challenges. Every single one. The only difference is as you grow, you're able to switch those thoughts around quicker. So the challenges don't stay there as long. So how do I know that these guys should be going through these things at about this stage? Because I did, right? And before these sorts of things would just jack me up for like sometimes months. Becky remembers, oh man, geez. I remember, one of the things that's going to happen too is I think somebody was asking me at breakfast the other day about coaches getting frustrating with them. And at the beginning, that would be something I'd be real scared about, right? Like, oh my gosh, please don't get upset with me. You might leave. And now I'm concerned if it doesn't happen, right? If I go through a week and someone's not upset with me, that makes me concerned now. Because I know that it's part of their growth process is that frustration and the personal development and the personal responsibility. So years ago, I didn't know how to have personal responsibility. Basically, everything that goes well is because of me. Everything that doesn't go well is because of me, right? Not because of my coaches, not because of Becky, not because of Karen. But years ago, I would get really frustrated and I would blame, Becky and Karen and Kim and anybody who could be around. You're going to get blamed. I mean, it could be Ezra. You're blamed. Amanda's blamed. Everyone was being blamed. But, I can have that same situation now. But the only thing that's changed is not necessarily the event. It's just how fast I shift that energy. So this is going to start happening to you guys too if you start using these principles. Like Tony said, is when she feels that her energy is off now, she starts to question her thoughts and is thinking on a higher level. It's called metacognition. And so now she's not just believing those thoughts, right? She's starting to question them. She's saying, wow, okay, I understand that I just had this thought. How is that thought serving me? But the only way this really works, guys, is if you actually know what you want, right? Because you won't know if the thought's serving you or not if you don't even know what you want. So you got to constantly be focused on what do you want? That's why I said we have to go back to the basics. What do you want? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do for your family? What do you want to give? Who do you want to give to? Why is that important to you? If it doesn't happen, then how will that feel? But if you don't even know what you want, what's the point of questioning these thoughts? Just let it happen. So you really got to know what it is that you want on a very, very fundamental level. So Tony, again, is getting back to leading with her health and focus on that. She is diving into personal development. She's asking herself, how's this thought serving me? And she's becoming more empathetic. I wonder what this person is going through to where they feel this way, right? I wonder what this person's going through that just complained to me for 30 minutes about how they don't have a great financial situation, but also says they don't want to do much about it. I wonder what they're actually going through to have them in that space, right? And now you're taking it off of you. It's not about you. And now it's basically going back to the person it should be on, which is them, right? So let me end with this, and it's really important. I think everyone that's on this line wants a big business, or you wouldn't got up at 6 o'clock for some of us out here to get on this call. That's just kind of how it is. This is why I do calls this dang early too, because I really want to see like who the road dogs are, basically. You know, it's very, very important for me because I like testing people. I want people to be at their best. And so I'm going to do a call at 6, so I want to see who's going to get on, right? Because I got on calls like this. I traveled across country and stuff like that. So in order for you to have these big businesses that you guys want, guys, we have to separate your energy from energy of people around you. What I mean by that is you're going to have to be so focused on what you want individually that a coach's energy has no effect on you. In fact, in order to have the business that you want, that has to be a primary staple, because you know, people on your teams, they're looking for one thing, and that's called leadership. And if you're at a place to where your leadership can't even separate you feeling good because a coach is feeling good, or you feeling bad because a client or coach is feeling bad, who's going to want to follow that sort of leadership? I don't, right? If my leader is wishy-washy, well, today they might be really gung-ho about this. And tomorrow, I don't even see them. It's not something I want to be a part of. So you have to separate what do you want and make that so strong on a fundamental level that you're going no matter what. And that sort of energy will attract the people that want to be there. But if you're like, I'm going today, no, I'm not going today. Today seems like a good day to go because the kids are in school. Oh, but tomorrow the kids are not in school, so I'm not going to go. And you're so back and forth, dude, that's confusing. And you're going to be, and the people on your team are going to be confused, right? There's this huge training, there's huge call or whatever, and my coach isn't there. Well, guess I don't have to be there. Oh, but they're going to go today, but they didn't say we should have went 2 weeks ago. It's confusing, man. So you got to really separate your energy, your energy, and their energy, and almost be like so strong that whatever they decide to do just bounces off of you. And it doesn't even matter because you've already made a decision, to Casey's point, that this is for me. I'm going to go create more stories like a Don, like a Cheryl and a Ron, like a Monique, right? Like my coach, Becky. I remember we were sitting in Sundance and she was telling the story about, and it was so powerful because I could tell it really hurt her heart to where Kristen, her daughter, was giving birth and she couldn't be there. And now she can. She can do whatever she wants to do. So, you know, go create those stories. And who cares if your client decides to push their order back? Who cares if your coach doesn't decide to go to convention when they should? I'm going. And I'm going to go find the people that want to come. If they want to come, great. If they don't want to come, I don't know what to tell them. I'm going. I'll see you on the other side. Like, it has to be that sort of energy if you actually want to attract these same people you're looking for. But I don't know if you guys just haven't figured it out yet, but you're not going to attract these people that you want when you're not steadfast in what you want. It's just not going to happen. So be steadfast. So let's do this thing. So, all right, convention's coming up. We got to set goals for how many folks we want. I think we're just kind of throwing caution to the wind right now and saying, okay, I'm going, but I don't really even have intentionality on how many folks I want to come with us. So especially at this level, again, look, if you start creating these sorts of habits, then it's going to trickle down in your organization, right? So if you set goals and this is how many folks I'm bringing, let's go. Everybody's going to get a chance to know clients, coaches. I don't care if you're not a client, not a coach, whatever. And then you're going to be able to have those sort of expectations with your group. And not only that, they will follow that energy. So let's start setting goals today on how many folks is going to be in Austin with us. It's about a month away. It's very, very important. What do they say? Rosie and Carla will understand this. Muy importante, right? So let's start setting goals and for how many people are coming with us. And then they're doing the class. It's a little bit different. So get with your coaches who are going and walk them through the classes. Before, we would already be there and we can sit down with them and pick out the classes and stuff. But obviously they're doing stuff more online now. So contact your group and make sure that they are picking out the correct classes for where their development is right now. I've done this in the past couple of days and people already had classes kind of picked out. I was like, oh my gosh, no. Those are not the classes we want to go to. It has to be something else. So make sure to get with your people too. And I think that was pretty much it. I know we'll see a lot of you guys later on this afternoon. But was this helpful? Okay. Are we feeling good? Do we actually want to go save the world now? And obviously get really, start trending towards the things that we want. But do not run away from these hard times. The same things you want to run away from is the same things is actually going to help you get to your goal. Another book is The Obstacle is the Way. So very, very important. I think we want to run away from these obstacles, not knowing that is the way. You just got to push through it. And so some of these techniques that Casey and Tony have given us today will help us do that. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for being on. If you have any questions, I'm going to stay on for a little bit, but I'll stop the recording.